that's on it right now. If we can show that on VRAD, just to let you know, we have one that's very close to that possible tornado. We don't know if it's on the ground at this point in time, but we do have a storm chaser that is looking right now. We're going to try to get confirmation of whether or not we do indeed have a tornado, but everybody in that area needs to take cover right now and go to your safe place. Again, that's a tornado warning, which continues for Perry County as well as far eastern areas of Yell County. We had that tornado warning that is riding right along that county line, and on its current course, it's going to get if it's were to stay together, it's going to get awfully close to Russellville. Not under a tornado warning right now, but I'd say near or just east of Russellville. At some point, that storm, whether it's tornadic or not, is going to cross Interstate 40 somewhere in that location. But our storm chaser is, last I talked to him, his name is Jesse Hayes. He's just about five miles away from where that circulation is located, Barry.
All right, yeah. That storm really doesn't, it's not very impressive, the rotation on it, but certainly it has a little appendage there. It's kind of a little arm sticking out back behind it there, and there still is some indication of rotation with it. I'm going to go to the velocity product from the Little Rock site here.
Yeah.
And you can see the reds and the greens coming together there.
It's not as strong as it was a little while ago when I saw it on radar when that tornado warning was issued, but definitely still some rotation on that thunderstorm. And we also have that, I was looking on Interstate 630, and there are big thunderstorms going up in Lonoke County right now.
Yeah.
Those are not tornadic producing, but the what we call convection. You see those big clouds billowing up into the sky. I mean, they were going and they were growing. So those storms are still in the developing stage right now out in portions of Lonoke County. So this thunderstorm that Barry's got, you can see also towards, that's looking off towards the east-northeast. You can see just to the right where that semi is going over the I-30 bridge. You can see that's what we call a rain shaft. That's extremely heavy rain coming down. Flash flooding will be a possibility. As you know, most of the state has a flash flood watch in effect. And
right. This is pouring rain. This is the other part of the equation. I mean, this is going to be pouring rain. This has got nowhere to go.
Right. The runoff, that's all this is going to do. The ground cannot absorb any more water. So as we've been telling you, yeah, there is a tornado threat. Absolutely, there's a tornado threat. But the biggest threat is going to be damaging winds and flash flooding out of this, and that's especially true over western Arkansas, which has seen upwards to 20 inches of rain, almost 20 inches of rain just since the beginning of this month alone. And so there's no place for that water to go, and we've had several inches of rain over Oklahoma. That water is draining down the river basin there, the Arkansas River Basin. This is, again, looking at our volumetric radar. You see Plainview, Ola, Centerville up towards the north in Yell County, south of Russellville, and we can go to a certain product here that looks at the if there's rotation, it is right there on the county line. I mean, it is right on it, due south of Ola. It's nothing, when you look at the rotation here on this, I've seen worse on radar. It's strong, and it obviously is deserving of a tornado warning. Can't deny that. But this rotation within this thunderstorm is not as strong as some of the past storms we have seen, like the Mayflower-Valonia tornado. But, you know, it doesn't take a big tornado to cause a lot of damage. Just a weak one, and that may be what we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it is a rural part of the state, but there are folks that live out there. And, again, it will be moving up toward the Highway 10 corridor.
Got a new tornado warning.
Yeah, new tornado warning for Perry, Pope, and Yell County until 7 o'clock. It's an extension of that storm, that warning that was in effect. It was set to die out in about 3 minutes. And so this one will go until 7 o'clock this evening, and it's just going to be extended up. And I don't know, I would think that it probably goes just barely up into the Russellville area. It hasn't updated quite on our map there, but it will go up there. It was just issued. So, yeah, it will go up into the Russellville area, kind of on the south side of town, just barely up into Pope County is where the actual box will be. And you can see it there, just to the south side of Russellville along the river. Dardanelle is actually in that. Ola, Berta, Centerville, and that storm will move right up that way. Now, it's not a fast mover, and that's the good news in all of this. But there certainly is the potential for some rotation inside of this. And it kind of just maintains that small amount of rotation. it doesn't seem like it gets any stronger, nor does it get any weaker as it moves up toward Ola. So if you're in that area now, I know it's not moving quickly, but you folks go ahead and get in a safe spot in your home, in Ola, in Berta, and those rural areas just to the south of there, right along the Yell and Perry County line. And it will continue to move off to the north. Still a tornado warning in effect over around Mena with that storm. We're going to go back to that. I think that one may be allowed to die out unless they see some indication of rotation with it. That's over in Polk County.
Yep, that storm is just east of Mena, that rotation, am I right? Just north of Big Fork?
It's that, and that's where it has been. It went from south to now southeast and east of the Mena area. And then the other one is up into Scott County and approaching just some rural communities there southeast of Mansfield. But those are over, that's along this larger area in the western part of the state. And there's that area of rotation back into Oklahoma just to the west of Fort Smith. So anything that gets going over here, a large thunderstorm, kind of taps into that wind energy and begins to rotate along that small bowed-out line. I still think, as Todd said, and I've said, wind damage, straight-line wind damage, is going to be our much bigger deal. But this storm here, approaching Ola and Plainview, we're going to be getting some, we've actually are starting to get pictures on there. If you can safely get us a picture, that's great. Folks, don't get us a picture to jeopardize your own safety. But I think we're going to have some photos coming in here just any minute now of that.
Right now. Yeah, we're working on getting those pictures right now,
Yeah.
Barry. But yeah, and our storm chaser's on that as well. And he said that he's going to call in and let us know if he does see anything. But this is an ominous looking site. It's still quite a ways from the radar right now, and it's still exhibiting some fairly strong rotation with it. So the way this looks, I think it's going to go just near or just east of town. But everybody in Dardanelle, Centerville, and Yell County, you need to get to your safe place. Put as many walls between you and the outside. And you need to go to the lowest level of your home or your business and take cover right now. It might be a good idea to take a pillow with you, something like that, to put over your head just in case there's a tornado. We have no confirmation of a tornado at this point in time. Do not have one, just looking at our newest information that is coming in. But we want to play the safe than sorry right now. I think that there is definitely some very strong winds with this, maybe even a little bit of hail. Barry, what do you think?
Yeah, the hail size still indicated at 1 3/4 inches. And this pulses up and down. Right now it's kind of maybe pulsed up a little, but it is taking a little more maybe northward track than it did, moving eventually. Well, the track of this rotation would take it just maybe between Ola and Berta in the Highway 10 corridor. And that whole area is what we're watching. 2 warned storms in western Arkansas. This one is much closer in. Now I'm going to put it back on reflectivity. You can see the storms that are approaching the Little Rock area over along I-40 east of town, maybe just this side of Lone Oak. And storms have gone through the Cabot area. There was briefly a severe thunderstorm warning there, but it's not in effect anymore. And Van Buren County also with some thunder showers there. But the strongest storm, I'd say, of all of them, except for this line of storms that's coming in with its potential for damaging winds, certainly the strongest storm is this storm out in advance. And I think we have a new radar loop or sweep right there. It still maintains that little bit of rotation with that storm. And even if you look at it in the reflectivity mode, you can see a bit of a hook there. Not terribly strong, but let's just, for the sake of staying safe, assume that there's a tornado on the ground. I'm not saying there is, but let's assume that there is. And that way, if something happens, we'll be in a safe spot already. There are just very few communities out there in the forests of western Arkansas, the Ouachita Forest out there. But Ola and Berta would be the next areas that would be in line for this storm. Plainview, you're west of the center of circulation, although there's quite a hail core up to the north of the center of circulation, which is down here. I'm going to put this into motion, and I think we have one more radar scan there that just came in. This is the latest one, yeah? It looks like, if anything, this is pulsed up just a little bit, Todd. Yeah. A little more pronounced hook on it as it moves line that is just due. It'll move maybe just east of where that dot of Ola is there, and the hail size is large on the north side of it.
We got a picture now that we can share with you. This is on our iPad, if you can take that. This comes to us from Russellville, looking towards Ola in plain view. You can see the very dark clouds off in the distance. And again, the address is, you can send them at KATV_weather that you see on the screen right there, or photo at KATV.com, or Facebook as well. We do not, whatever you do, it's not worth it to put yourself into harm's way. It is not. But if you are safe, within safe distance, please send them, and also to the National Weather Service in Little Rock, and make sure you put your location and your time in that. Make sure you put your location and time. Looking for any storm reports out of this right now, Barry, and I don't see any confirmation that there's a tornado, just a bunch of issuances of severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings, but no confirmation that anything is on the ground at this time.
That's good news. There are other storms out in advance of the line. There's one down around El Dorado right now on our VRAD display, and it looks like sizable hail, indicated 1.25 inches in diameter off to the east of El Dorado, moving toward Morro Bay. And as of now, that's just a severe thunderstorm warned storm. And rotation-wise, it doesn't look like much of anything in that storm. There's also a strong storm near Magnolia. Those are some storms in advance of the main line itself. And then this whole broad area of the state, not only under a tornado watch now, this taking in most of the state, but a severe thunderstorm warning for every place that this line of storms as it moves into the state. Okay, now we have a tornado signature on this storm.
Jesse may be on that, if we can look at his feed in just a second. But yeah, there's definite rotation on there.
And yeah, this has definitely gotten stronger. You folks in Ola and Berta and those areas in between and just to the south of there, this has crossed over the rotation into Yell County, just barely into Yell County, and the next area would be Centerville. And we're going to put the radial velocity on that. Yeah, this is a tight little couplet right here with winds going away from the radar site about 65 miles an hour.
Barry, I have a report right now. I'm on the phone with our storm chaser, and he says that he does see something down to the ground southeast of Ola. Again, he says he sees something on the ground. Yeah, go ahead, Jesse. Definite lowering. We're working to get video. It's coming over the top of Ola Mountain right now. He doesn't have a complete visual, but he does see something may be in contact with the ground. Is it? It is definitely in contact with the grounds.
Okay.
He's at a distance right now, but it does appear that we may have something on the ground there. And I think we're going to be working on getting his live feed too.
All right. Yeah, that's a tornado signature there, and we're getting now some confirmation of, at very least, a big lowering of the cloud base, and he says in contact with the ground also. So this storm has pulsed up a little bit, folks, and that's starting to become a little more classic signature of a tornado-producing thunderstorm. So if you're in this area, especially from Ola to Berta, these are small areas. Now, Casa, you're off to the east of it. Danville, you're off to the west of it. But it'll move right up and towards Centerville, and that would take it eventually very near Dardanelle and Pottsville. I'm just saying, it's down the road, and it may not hold together, but that's the area that is in question right now, and I'll put this into motion and show you how it really has pulsed up there and gotten a little more kind of classic look in just the last, radar sweep,
right.
5 minutes.
And on our 5 live Doppler radars, just to show you the perspective with this on the radar, that is just south of Russellville. Russellville is not in, there it is right there. Let's go to our volumetric radar. And there it is live.
There's the storm.
There it is. That's the. He says it is. That's at least a wall cloud. I cannot tell if it's rotating or not, Barry.
Well, you can't tell because there's a ridge there. If it's making contact with the ground on top of that ridge, or if it's over the ridge. But that's out of the midst of that. That is a wall cloud, and you would see that in the middle of that is where the tornado would come down in the midst of that. It's a classic signature, and you folks in that area, it's time to take cover with it. It also has hail to the north of it, and that is the storm that we're looking at. And that, Todd, if I had to guess, I'd say there's something on the ground.
Yeah, he said it's just coming off of Ola Mountain. But I mean, you're looking at this from a distance. I cannot tell whether or not there's some rotation. But boy, I tell you what, that does. It could be embedded inside there somewhere. There's a tornado. Can you see any rotation in that? And I don't want to say that there's not anything on the ground. There more than likely is here. You need to get to your safe place right now.
I would think so. And what you don't see is that's the mesocyclone. But what you might not see is a small tornado. Or even a medium-sized tornado coming out of the bottom of that because we're obscured a little bit by the ridge.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can. I don't know if he can hear us right now. I gave him the phone number to call in, and hopefully he'll be calling into our audio booth, and so we can get a visual. He's got a visual, get to his perspective. But I don't know if you can put me in front of this or not. I'm going to try to explain to you what we're looking at.
Let's go back to our 5 Live. I want to go back to that picture, but our 5 Live, and just east of Ola is where that rotation center would be. If you're in Ola right now, you've got to get into a safe spot. It's pretty apparent where it is right now, but that is the area. And around Petit Jean, there's large hail, but Ola, and just to the east of there is where that rotation is, and it is crossing Highway 10 even as we speak. Let's go back, if we can, to the picture of that storm. We have now confirmation of it visually on video-wise. And this is from Jesse Hayes, our storm spotter in that area.
Yeah, that looks like I just got a picture. And by the way, if we could pop up our iPad. Can we pop up our iPad right now? This is a picture. There it is right there. This comes to us from @NA_Irwin. It comes to us, I'm being told, from that tornado-warned storm. There it does look like there's something that, you can't tell whether or not it is actually on the ground in that picture, but it sure does look like it. There's some trees there, but definitely rotation and some a funnel cloud with that picture. Again, that comes to us via social media @NA_Irwin on that thunderstorm that has a tornado warning on it. So we cannot stress this enough that all those places along in the path of that needs to take cover immediately. Do we have that live shot now, the Jesse Hayes live shot?
Yeah, I think that, I'm not sure if this is...
There it is. Boy, I tell you what. And do you see what we're looking at right here?
Right.
Just off the screen here. And I can't see. It's in the distance. I can't tell whether or not that's rotating or not right now, but it sure does look like it. And you may have some of these appendages. That may be the wall cloud. And see right there? That looks like a funnel possibly extending to the ground. You may start to get these little funnels right there, these appendages. Boy, okay, now I can see the rotation. Now I see the rotation. You can see the tornado right here.
Right there, yeah.
Yeah, I see it spinning on the ground right there. Definitely in contact with the ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it just looks like it's lifting off the ground just a little bit, Barry, doesn't it?
Yeah,
there's another funnel
becoming
right there.
More apparent right there. That's a small funnel.
It looks like a multiple vortex there. We're talking about several small funnels. You see one right here could be coming down to the ground. What are some of the towns in the path of this?
This is still this is just to the east of Ola, and so let's put a track on this. If we go back to our 5 Live, I do want to go back to that picture very quickly. It wasn't moving very quickly. I'm going to have to go out just a little bit more on that to get a good track.
Oh, look at it. Take the picture now, Barry.
Yeah,
let's take it now. Go back to the live shot.
This is very apparent.
Go back
now,
to the live
folks.
shot, guys.
And it's coming
there it is.
Over the ridge and is making contact with the ground.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And the signature is even greater now on the radar, too, just at that same time. Not moving very quickly, but this would put it around Pottsville at 7, well, it'll be about 7:20 or 7:15, but...
yeah, there, okay, now, okay, there it is right there, and you can obviously see the cyclonic rotation within that wall cloud, Barry.
Yeah.
Does it look like, we just had it was a fairly significant tornado that did touch down, and it looked like it lifted up, so it's periodically putting down tornadoes. He's going to
have to move because it's kind of coming toward him.
Right, and I think he's going to get in a better position. Hopefully we'll be able to talk to him, but I think we should go back to Barry on our 5 Live Doppler radars. But this does have a confirmed tornado with it, and it's moving towards the north.
Yeah, the area that is rotating is, I'm going to take that off there. It's a much more apparent rotation now as it crosses Highway 10. The hail core is well up to the north of it. This is all kind of out by itself at the base end of it, but it's coming across Highway 10, just to the east of Ola, And it will move up then, kind of paralleling Highway 28, crossing over 154. There's a small community called Cottontown. There's Carden Bottoms, Prosperity. These are very, very small communities, unincorporated towns, some of those. And then Dardanelle, you are technically within the warned area, although it's a long way away, and this storm is not moving all that quickly. But I'm going to put this, kind of into motion. We're going to go back to that storm because it's the only one of note right now. And there's the tail that we see on the back side of it. And I'm going to also get the velocity product from Little Rock in there. You can see that where the reds and the greens are coming together. While Jesse is getting a new vantage point, let's go back, if we can, just for 1 second to our VRAD display there. Show that, because it still shows up.
Yeah. It's just east of Ola. It's Centerville. You need to be in your tornado safe place. We don't think that there is a tornado that is staying on the ground. I think this is the type of situation right now. It could be cycling, but it's a situation where we get a tornado and then it lifts off the ground. We get another tornado, lifts off the ground. So it's kind of skipping around, and we start getting that contact with the ground. But I want everybody, and we're talking about eastern Yell County. So Danville, you're not, oh boy, a new image just came in, and the velocities have gotten stronger with that.
Up.
Yeah.
It probably did cycle, and if you go to our 5 live Dopplers, you can see a very pronounced hook right there. And it's mimicking that. This is just the latest hook, the latest radar sweep that shows that very pronounced hook.
Yep, it does, and it has just, what highway is that? It's getting ready to cross over 154. I believe there's Garden Bottom at the top of your screen. You see Pettigene. It's going to go just to the along and just east of Pettigene there at the intersection of 154 and 28. Danville, you are not in this tornado warning, but you need to everybody in the Pettigene area, and that's eventually going to cross Interstate 40.
Yeah, the hail is not the most impressive thing with this storm. It is the little hook that's
I think we have Jesse Hayes on the phone.
Okay, he's got a new shot that's coming in here. Hold, folks, and
on the volumetric radar, we have his live shot. Jesse, are you on the phone?
See it.
We see it right now. Go ahead, Jesse.
It looks like it's lifted a little bit. Todd, there is debris in the air, though, just south of Highway 10, probably 3 or 4 miles west of Ola. Or, I'm sorry, east of Ola.
Okay.
Right.
On Highway 10. Had debris momentarily. Matter of fact, there's still debris in the air. I don't know if you can see it in the live stream or not.
No, it's a little difficult to see, but what we see, Jesse, is a wall cloud right now, so it has hit something.
No, it's back down on the ground now. There's debris in the air around it now.
Okay, there it is on the ground right now, and there's debris in the air, so we can say, go ahead, Barry.
What direction are you looking, Jesse?
I'm actually looking back to the northwest, Barry.
Okay, so you're east of the storm.
It's tracking toward, I think, Todd, you said a minute ago, Highway 154.
Right.
So it should be tracking just east of Centerville.
Right.
Over into the Carden Bottoms area is the way it appears to be tracking right now toward the western tip of Pettigene Mountain.
Yes.
Looks like that's the track.
Now, what we're looking at on your live stream right now, Jesse, I see the rotation with it. It doesn't look like what you would think of as your classic tornado, and there are several different areas of rotation within there, isn't there?
There is, yeah. Well, it's driven multiple vortices. I mean,
right.
A number of occasions there's been, multiple areas of circulation. It looks like it's trying to wind up and kind of get into one pronounced area of circulation now.
Yeah, we see almost on radar, I think, a debris ball. I think the radar is starting to see some of that debris. This is not the strength of Mayflower Valonia at this time. I can tell you that just by looking at that right now. But it doesn't have to be. That was a rare tornado. This is, I think, a typical Arkansas tornado that we get here in the springtime that causes damage and can cause fatalities. So you need to be in your safe place. And so, Jesse, just stay with us. We see that singular funnel now coming down. Is it in contact with the ground? Do you still see debris?
Well, it's partially obscured by trees right now, but I'm going to get back in and see if I can't give you a little better look at it here, Tom.
Okay. We also have, just want to let you know, we're just notified that our other storm chaser, Brian Emfinger, is in Pottsville, and he'll have his live stream. So we'll have this storm covered on both ends of it as you're coming up on it from the southwest, and he's coming up on it from the north. So he's in Pottsville right now, coming up on that storm. It looks like it may have dissipated.
Yeah, I wouldn't let your guard down with that, but because it has cycled several times, but but that whole large area is turning, and then if you from that lowered cloud base there, that's where you see the tornadoes sprout. Still on our 5 live Doppler radars, it's still a very pronounced inflow as it moves, kind of parallels the highway there and moving just to the east of the small community of Pettigene, and it'll move up across Highway 154 in very short order with hail up to the north of it. And so I don't want to get too short-sighted on that, but Dardanelle, you're straight north of this. Looks like this storm is moving north-northeast, and Pottsville would be in an area eventually that would be affected by this. And again, this is a tornado-warned area, and it is until 7 o'clock, but I think it will probably go even farther than that. Looks like it's starting to spin back up. Let's go back to Jesse's live feed.
Right now, Todd.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely so. Much larger.
Let's go back to it. Yeah, it is. If you can pan just a little bit more to the right, Jesse, and I think you're going to lose a little view of that because it's about to go over some trees. But they have extended that tornado warning, by the way, up towards I-40 between Russellville and Atkins. But Jesse, tell us what you're looking at right now. You can obviously see this rotation.
Yeah, it looks like it's recycling. I'm again kind of partially obscured about 300 yards out by a line of trees, but it's just real odd. I mean, it continued to drop. Just multiple areas of circulation. It's just extremely odd the way it's as far as movement, but definitely on the ground coming over the top of Ola Mountain, just south of Highway 10.
Earlier you saw some debris, Jesse. Do you still see debris coming up out of this?
I don't see debris at the moment.
Okay.
But again, it looks to me like, without looking at the radar scan, it looks like it's recycling right now.
Okay, this is the mesocyclone that you see right here, the wall cloud, and we're getting funnels coming out of this, and it does look like, you can't see because, this is one of the problems that you have chasing in Arkansas. You have so many hills, you have so many trees, and it's tough to see things. So we have to just assume that this is staying on the ground. I think this is the type of tornado that goes on the ground, lifts up, hits the ground, lifts up, and we just need to assume that this is staying on the ground. Wouldn't you say so, Barry?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it may or may not. We did see it. Actually, we had video of it as it went through some trees there. It was making contact with the ground. It was very apparent, and you saw debris flying in the air. That was only about 7, 8 minutes ago. Jesse has repositioned here. He's off to the east side of it. It's moving off to the right, off to the north. And it looks like he's going to have to reposition again.
Yeah.
And,
boy, that's getting big, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the whole rotation is, and then that's, folks, if you ever see a lowering of the cloud base like that, even if it doesn't go to the ground, that's what a tornado sprouts from. It's a small area within the mesoscale rotation on this storm, the mesocyclone, and there you can clearly see it. That is. That's what we study in meteorology school about what it looks like below a supercell storm. So this is kind of a lesson in that, but it's one that could really do some damage because I think it's going to have the potential for a little while of staying on the ground as it heads up to perhaps a little more populated areas than it's in right now.
That's Jesse, I don't know, are you still on the phone? If you can pan to the right a little bit, just to let everybody know, we have severe thunderstorm warnings for Pike County and for Montgomery County, so we're not forgetting about the other area of the state, but right now those are severe thunderstorm warnings, and this is a tornado warning. Boy, is that, are we looking at one circulation on the ground, and what is that out in front of it there, Jesse?
There appears to be multiple circulations that keep trying to form. I've got multiple funnels that keep trying to drop out of this one lowering. So I don't, again, just kind of obscured. Now it looks like it's recycling into a, okay, hang on just a minute. Let me see what we got going on.
Yeah,
here.
I'm wondering if you're going to be able to get around that grove of trees.
It's kind of a broader area now.
The presentation on radar is still significant.
Yeah, on our 5 live Dopplers, you can still see with the latest radar scan there. We're going to loop this for you, but it's moving off to the north, still in the tornado warned area. And that has been extended up to the north and now includes Russellville and Pottsville and just on the west side of Atkins. And so it continues to move off to the north there. But this storm is certainly, now that we have ground confirmation of it, one that we're going to have to really closely watch. It has cycled up and then it cycles back down.
House, right?
What you got there, Jesse?
I was just confirming with a resident here in Yale County where that actually crossed Highway 10 down here. There was a home that where I was initially set up with a live stream. There was a home there when it came over the hill, making contact with the ground, just trying to confirm whether they had damage across the road, and he did confirm there was damage across Highway 10 here near Berta.
Okay, so near Berta, across Highway 10 damage. And Jesse, I don't know if do you still see rotation?
I don't. It's just again, it's kind of broadening out a little bit, loosening up, but it just appears to continue to recycle. So I'm going to try to get in a little bit better position, and I'll definitely still have the live stream up as long as I've got a signal in service out this way.
Okay, and Centerville, I want everybody in Centerville to take their safe place. Get there right now. Dardanelle, up towards Pottsville, Atkins. You're not technically in this tornado warning right now, but I want you to be in your safe place immediately. Everybody between Russellville and Atkins, along and south of I-40, even north of I-40, along Highway 247. This circulation will pass over Highway 247 at some point. And let's go now to meteorologist Barry Brandt and with our 5 live Doppler radars. Barry?
Yeah, we'll take both of these, but yeah, 5 live Doppler radars showing that Hook area, and we said, hey, between Ola and Berta, that's where we're going to see this rotation, and as it continues to move up to the north. So if you just drew a straight line from where it has been, it would be just east of Dardanelle. It would be just east of Russellville where this storm would eventually go. We don't know that it'll hold together, but we do know that it's a strong storm. Let's go back to VRAD real quick, and I want to show you the rotation. We've got this is the live feed. Again, okay. It's hard to see now any organized rotation there, but I think we're just being obscured somewhat by the trees, Todd.
Yeah, I think so. Let's go back, and I'll go back to our volumetric radar.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It is right there. As it moves toward small community of Centerville, there's a hail core up to the north of it. This has some processing time to it, so it is probably very near the Centerville area right now, and I would say it still has the potential from time to time to have a small tornado touching the ground. We already saw it happen as it crossed Highway 10, as our storm chaser Jesse Hayes was on this storm. But yeah, there's the latest scan right there. So it's just east of Centerville. So all around Centerville, get into a safe spot. I hope you're already there, and I hope you have power. If not, you can download the KATV weather app, and you can hit live stream. And our broadcast right now is going out all over the place on that. Again, it'll be moving up through that area, and we're still in a tornado-warned area, and that looks like the storm that we're most concerned with, Todd.
All right, I think we now have our storm chaser, Brian Emfinger. If we could talk to him. What do you got? There's his live stream right there. Looks like it froze up there, Brian, but tell us what you see in your location. Brian, can you hear us, Brian? Okay, just want to let you know we got his live feed up. He's obviously on I-40, so when this crosses I-40, we're hoping and we're praying that this circulation ends, that this thing will wind down. But this has a history. He's getting off of the interstate there, it appears. And so Jesse is out there on that storm just near Centerville now, and now we have our own storm chaser, Brian Emfinger, which is going to catch this storm. Not quite sure his location, and Brian will call in. We apologize getting some of these this video, but this is part of storm chasing here when you're in some of these rural areas, getting signal out. But just want to show you that we do have another storm chaser on that. Now we're looking at our 5 live Doppler radars. And what's the movement on this, Barry? North at about 40? Is that right? North at 40 or 45?
Well, it was a little bit less. There is a new tornado warning in effect around Danville. And
yep, I see it.
This is a little more obscure, perhaps, but tornado warned storm around Danville right now. Just to the northwest of it, it looks like there could be a little inflow within that. This is a tornado warning. Yeah.
Let's go. I think we have Brian Emfinger on the phone.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and get to Brian. And just to let everybody know, we have a tornado warning out there over the Danville area. You need to take your tornado precautions right now. And there's the Brian Emfinger feed. Tell us what you're looking at there, Brian.
It's actually Matt Mershon here. I'm with Brian Emfinger, and we are looking at a wall cloud. A couple of cars. We are just getting in off of I-40 in Pottsville, and several cars pulled over right now as we await what looks like, as we see this wall cloud, and what we're hearing is a confirmed tornado on the ground not far from this area.
Yes, there was, and there's damage along Highway 10 near Berta. That's what we were told by our storm chaser, Jesse Hayes, that we're carrying that tornado live on the air, and now you're seeing it from another distance. It's a wall cloud. The circulation on it is not as strong as it was a little while ago, but it's continuing, and a tornado warning continues on that. And this has the I'm just getting some word. Stay with us, Matt. But getting word right now that this tornadic storm near Centerville in Yell County appears disorganized at this time, but they're anticipating the possibility of re-intensification as it lifts north. And I imagine one of the reasons why is because it's following a track very similar to the February 5th, 2008 tornado that went. This is not that intensity at this time, but where it comes down off of the mountains, off the hills, these things can intensify. And so, guys, stay with that storm, stay at a safe distance, but we are anticipating this to put down another tornado. That is, we can't say 100% sure, but there's high likelihood that this is just recycling and reorganizing, and we have Brian Emfinger on that right now. Barry's got the circulation, so we're going to stay up there, Matt and Brian, and we also have Jesse Hayes on the storm as well, and Barry's tracking it on our volumetric radar.
What you see on the screen there, that is rotation.
The circulation on this, Barry, does not look as, there's still what we call some shear, some gate-to-gate shear, this couplet here, but it's not as intense as it was just a little while ago. But it's still there, and you need to take your tornado precautions, but it's slowly rotating around to the northwest and the extreme, this is in the extreme northwestern areas of Polk County, and we now have a new tornado warning. This is for Pulaski and Saline County.
Okay, it's that, okay.
It's that notch that I was looking at, I bet.
Right.
Let me take this severe thunderstorm warnings off. We're going to get the tornado warnings on here in just 1 second, but we're going to stay on the air. This is for Pulaski and Saline County. We will pinpoint the areas that have this tornado warning.
6 miles southeast of Williams Junction. That's where Highway 9 and Highway 10 come together. And it's moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. And yeah, it's the bowed out area of that storm.
Yeah, it's right. It's this one right here. Is that the one that they're looking at?
That's it.
That's the one we were just analyzing here. What's the movement on that today?
Yeah, it's 40 miles per hour, I believe.
To the moving northeast.
30 miles per hour.
Northeast at 30. So again, moving to there's the tornado warning right there. The polygon just popped up, and that was that area that I was analyzing, and it's moving up towards Roland right now. And
yes, the western part of Pulaski County.
Yep.
And those areas, you folks out in the western part of the county that were affected by the Mayflower and Valonia tornadoes, that, not to say that this is anything like that, I'm just talking about aerial coverage. That area would be an area around where we might expect wind damage, and we might expect some rotation along with that. This is more than likely a brief spin up, and damaging winds may still be the biggest deal with this, but the intensification of a rotating bit in there, a little rotation for a weak tornado could intensify that wind damage in the western part of the state. Todd, what do you see?
This, if we can, unfortunately, it is in that area where we saw the power flashes. Get the Chenal camera, and if we can, the Chenal mountain camera is here. Don't point it up towards Pinnacle. Point it up more towards the northwest, over towards the west end of Lake Maumelle. That's the rotation right there. Again, this is not a classic supercell thunderstorm that we saw on April 27th of last year. And if there's any good news with this, and there's not much, but if there's any good news with this, is that these are usually brief spin-ups. They don't last all that long, and they zip up the line. So, yeah, this is in effect for western Pulaski County, and that's the rotation right there. You're getting that spin on the far. This is going to miss Little Rock. I just want to stress this again. This is going to go, now we're going to have damaging winds, but this particular rotation with that storm should avoid the Little Rock area and affect areas in far northwestern Pulaski County and go up towards Roland, Lake Maumelle, and there's Ferndale, Pinnacle Mountain on the very southern end of that. Mayflower, you are not technically in this tornado warning right now, but you need to really pay close attention to the storm. But this is not the classic supercell that we saw a little more than a year ago, but it's enough that will cause an enhancement of the damage right here. We have strong thunderstorm damaging winds, but this is an area where it's enhanced. It's very typical to get these spin-ups. People can easily get hurt in these situations. They spin up pretty quickly, and then they go back down. Do we have that Chenal camera? If we can. It's dark, yeah?
Yeah, that's looking west, though. Yeah, that's more northwest, but yeah, just almost due west now of our Chenal camera is where you're going to see a whole lot of lightning.
The thing that you want to look for are power flashes, though.
Yeah, we're looking for, so
kind of that purplish blue glow on the horizon When you see power flashes, that's when you know you have something on the ground. But Barry, I've seen rotation, and since this is close to the radar, that's the other point, is that we're very close to the radar, so we're getting a fantastic sample of the storm, so the degree of confidence with this is remarkably high because we're not shooting far away. But yeah, there is rotation here, but I've seen stronger, Barry, haven't you?
Yeah, I have too, and then the rotation away from the radar site really isn't all that impressive, but I have, it is showing up as 67. Now there's a little core in that's showing up over 80 knots.
Wow.
And so that's within that. There's 90 miles per hour of wind, 95 mile per hour winds within that. Now I don't know if they're translating to the ground at that speed, but folks, this is why we're really concerned about wind damage along that line. And as you have a little bit of a spin up, those very bright white colors right there. Right in this area, I saw one that's right, I think it was right there, that had 83.5 knots, and that's right on the Saline, Pulaski County line. I'm going to back out just a little bit, give you a little perspective, and then turn the rainfall back on as this starts to move in. And there is a little rotation there. I think that's just due to so much wind being in this area.
I think we have on the phone right now Matt Mershon. Matt?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We are headed, I don't know if you are taking our live view picture,
we are.
But we are headed up I-40, about to head into Mayflower, and we are headed toward this tornado-warned storm in western Pulaski County.
Okay, so we will continue. Please let us know what you're going to be looking for because it's dark or power flashes near the ground. You're probably not going to be able to see this very well, but just stay with us, Matt. We have your live feed, but we need to go to meteorologist Barry Brandt right now. Barry?
Yeah, well, we'll continue to watch that storm. Eventually, this kind of core of strongest winds would move toward the Mayflower area, but that's kind of a long way away, and sometimes you see that start to die out. Little Rock down here, so this strongest part of the winds will miss us to the northwest, but we're going to watch that little notch right there. Not so much that we think that there's absolutely a tornado with that, but there is some rotation, and there's wind coming toward the radar site, which is right over here. There's the radar, and so it's not very far away. It's not more than, I would say, 10 or 12 miles away from this little, oh, we have a new update. So that's, it doesn't look like it has quite the wind now, right?
No,
but
there's still a hook there, sort of
yeah, kind of a
notch.
broader area right there, and that's going right up to the tornado-warned area. Let me tell you, that whole area right there, Ferndale Cutoff, Highway 10 corridor out in West Little Rock, that is going to have some torrential rain and unreal winds, 70, 75, 80 miles an hour coming right down that valley there headed toward Pinnacle Mountain, and then maybe a little bit of an enhancement of those winds as these storms head toward the Mayflower area. So that's what we're watching now, as we're watching the whole line of storms. This is just kind of an enhanced part of it, and a little bit of rotation is possible within what otherwise will be just straight line wind damage. And so we're not discounting the fact that West Little Rock, the I-430 right there, there's I-40 coming up out of Little Rock. Not saying that you won't have wind there, you will, but this might be just a little bit stronger moving out across Roland and Natural Steps and places like that out in the northwestern part of the county. And there's the velocity product there. So we just see the wind coming toward the radar site at a really, really rapid clip. This is a great sample of this storm because we're so very close to the radar, Todd.
Barry, getting reports now. I'm looking at the Twitter feed. The sirens are going off in North Little Rock and Jacksonville. We need to let everybody know that they sound the sirens for one part of the, if it's in one part of the county, they go off for the entire county. In Jacksonville, you know what? You're in danger from severe thunderstorm winds. Right now, at this time, at 8:26, you're not in danger of a tornado, and neither is North Little Rock. This particular circulation will go north.
It'll be that part of Pulaski County. And let me just give you a reference there. I-430, I-630 crossing town, and there's North Little Rock and Sherwood and the North Little Rock Airport there where the National Weather Service radar is. So it's coming this way. Is there a new warning that just came out?
All the Weather Service is doing is updating it and saying that Saline County is now out of the tornado warning.
Okay, so yeah, obviously the strongest part of that storm, where if there is any rotation, it's clearly over into Pulaski County and that area on the south side of Lake Maumelle. out here is an area that will be affected by strong winds. There'll be a number of pine trees down and perhaps some other trees as well because the ground is so very wet. But even as we head down into the area just coming into West Little Rock, coming through Benton and Bryant now, boy, you've had some heavy, heavy winds moving through there. I don't know if we've had any reports of any damage or power outages around Saline County, but it has moved through Benton, moving through Bryant right now. And there's that area of the tornado warning that has been pushed out just a little bit. So that's what we see right now. I don't see any obvious area of rotation with it, but those bright greens right there, folks, that is a lot of wind coming toward the radar site. And I'd say from Ferndale to Pinnacle and Roland and headed up toward Mayflower, there's just going to be a lot of power that goes out. And there will be some areas, I think there'll be some building damage, and I think there'll be power lines obviously down, but there'll be a lot of trees down in a few spots along this line, and maybe in most areas along this line. Small branches coming out of the trees as well. Watch out for that. And I think there are going to be trees that are coming out of the ground pretty easily because the ground is so wet.
Do you see behind you, Barry, if you can step over, do you see this? I'll move the screen over just a little bit. There's an enhancement of the wind, not associated with the tornado. Yeah.
No.
Near Ferndale.
That's just wind coming toward the radar site, and it's probably on the order of 70 or so miles per hour.
Sure.
And now what helps that is the radar looks up just above ground level. What helps that is there are hills and there are trees, and there is some friction to account for right down at the surface of the earth. The trees and the hills do slow that wind down, but not a whole lot. And I think that whole area coming into West Little Rock is really going to be an area that you're going to have to watch out for power outages, and it's coming in right now. I mean, it's just right on top of us, even as we speak.
The tornado warning, Barry, for Johnson, Newton, and Pope County has been allowed to expire. So this is the only tornado warning which is in effect, and this is going to go north of Pinnacle Mountain, most likely, and head up towards Roland. But I do have concern. Structurally, when you look at this thunderstorm with what we call, this is called base reflectivity, when you look at this, you obviously see there's rotation here, but when you look at the velocities, it's not nearly as scary.
No.
But I don't want to minimize this. I don't want to downplay this at all. You need to take your tornado precautions right now. And this is going to go into southern Faulkner County. We're looking live right now with our Skycam here in downtown Little Rock off towards the west. And you're going to start to see quite a bit of lightning, I'm sure. And the winds are just going to be, here it is at 8:29. We thought this would be in West Little Rock by about 8:30. And I mean, it's just a few miles away from West Little Rock right now. Benton and Bryant. Boy, Bryant, Benton, you've got it, and there's a radar update. You see this kind of bowing out in the far southeastern areas of Saline County, Shannon Hills, Mableville. You're going to have some very high winds with that. Since we got this radar update, let's look at this, and there is maybe a little more of an enhanced area right there of some shear coming up over Pinnacle Mountain. And the other thing that Barry keeps showing, there's even some pixels here, almost purple. This is I think this is close to 70-knot winds.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's what concerns me.
Yeah. It's coming around the back side of the circulation, south of Roland, going to go between Roland and Pinnacle Mountain. This is just going to hook right through that area, and there's going to be a gust of wind out of the west that's going to knock over trees in that area. Do we just stay with that radar shot right there? And let me just, if I can get control of this mouse here, look at the power outages. In that area, we're up to 18,000 now, and that was just as of a few moments ago, and I bet that gets close to doubling, close to that. And right now, no power outages in that area being reported yet. I don't know how long it takes for it to show up on Entergy's website, but I can tell you right now, in that area out towards Ferndale, they do, part of that grid out there is Entergy's, and they do not have any power outages. However, there are enormous amount of power outages in and around Hot Springs, over into the Malvern, especially just east of Malvern. But there is some enhancement here on our volumetric radar, and if I can look at there's another product right here, and this is what tries to pinpoint where the rotation is located, and it's heading just to the north of Ferndale. Maumelle, you're under this tornado warning, just on the very edge of it. I want you to get into your safe place. Mayflower, I know this is scaring you. I know that, and especially the kids are probably scared. You're going to have high winds, but this, I want to stress again, is likely, I can't say for sure because it hasn't hit, but is likely not on the magnitude of what we saw on April 27th, but this can cause damage. It can cause injuries, and we want you to be safe. Go to the interior of your home or your business. This will be over very quickly. Mayflower, you're not under this tornado warning right now. That's the other thing. But this storm complex, whether it's a tornado or not, you're going to have high winds in Mayflower. You're under a severe thunderstorm warning.
And they're right on your doorstep
Yes.
even now. There's a little bit of processing. To go to our 5 live Doppler radars, I'll give you an overview of the entire line as it approaches the Little Rock area. There are points north. That swirling area going toward Leslie right now, that's the upper low. That's the center of the upper low that's moving there. And so that's going to be an enhancement of the wind field. Conway, it's approaching you. And down to the south, I would say the trailing edge of this storm down here is not as strong as this bowed out echo that's coming through the Little Rock area. Just barely. Now, it's still going to be strong. Dallas County, Grant County, but those storms don't look quite as strong, and they're not bowed out quite as much as this is. And so there's the latest and the red outlined tornado warned area. But all of this is wind. All of this is wind, and it's into West Little Rock right now. It's coming into Otter Creek, and it'll be approaching Conway and Mayflower very quickly. Again, here it is, kind of on a little broader view as it's moving toward our area. But this is what we've been kind of fearing coming through all night. The one thing that I do see is no storms that are out in advance of the line. This storm line has overtaken all the storms pretty much in the state, and what you're going to see now is just a straight line wind threat with perhaps embedded little circulations within that. But this is what's happening right now. Coming into the West Little Rock area.
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know, since we're doing continuous coverage, if you lose power, you have a radio, B98.5, the point 94.1, the buzz, and heartbeat 106.7. That's where you can have our live streaming audio plus the KATV news app, where we stream our coverage live there. I do have concern that we have a tornado here, Barry, because the radar, again, just about 17 miles away from the radar, I'm estimating, and there is now a tornado vortex signature starting to show up near Roland. It's just, I want you, like I said, there's that area
it's
where...
quite possible.
Yeah. I don't think it would be a strong one.
No.
But I think that there could be a tornado. And even especially on the south side of that, you got winds wrapping into it. And I think that you see the tornado warning just got trimmed back a little bit. It's for a small area.
Yeah, much more specific there, headed toward the Roland area. So if you're in that area, that area just on the north side of Lake Maumelle, Waterview, subdivision, places like that, just be aware that this is a lot of wind and possibly a tornado, and so get into a safe spot in your home, down below ground level if you have that, a storm shelter. If not, the most interior part of your storm, and you want to put as many walls and windows as you can between you and the outside.
Yeah, and I'm getting reports again from Twitter. I appreciate everybody who's been following on Twitter right now. Getting reports of tornado sirens going off all over Pulaski County. This is just for this small area right now. Also getting reports now, power being out at the Saline County line. We do not know whether or not that is caused by a tornado, but more likely thunderstorm winds. But this is a radar update here, and there is circulation. It's not the inbound velocities right here, which you see in that blue, just off the screen on the right. I'm looking, Barry, and this is up to 70, maybe even close to 80 knots.
Yeah, that's a lot of wind.
You know, and you do the conversion from knots to miles per hour, it's 1.15, I believe.
Yeah, it's 95 miles an hour, perhaps.
Yeah,
again, we don't know that that's translating to the ground.
Exactly.
But it's close, and so just be very wary of it, folks. We're going to start to see power outages that are picking up as this enters the Little Rock Metro, because there's just so many more people that live here, and the winds are very, very strong. And for right now, I don't see that. A summary of Entergy says almost 19,000 customers are now without power because of this storm line, and that is a ton of folks, Hot Springs Village, numerous.
Hit hard.
Yeah, east of Hot Springs also very, very hard.
All right, getting a report here from Michael Santiago saying heavy rain and gusting winds hitting the David O'Dodd area. Right now, the storm has arrived in the Parkway Place area in West Little Rock. That we also do not have any reports of hail with this. So that's at least some good area.
Yeah, I don't see any hail along this line.
Is all heavy rain and wind. The possible tornado, again, is going to stay just out of the Little Rock, immediate Little Rock area. And Maumelle, you are not in this tornado warning. We'll see if this gets continued. Can we just take a look real quick at our Chenal camera pointing towards Pinnacle Mountain? It's probably in that area.
It's going to be dark.
Yeah. I don't see any flashes. That's what you would look for. Well, okay. And I don't know if we have Matt Mershon, if we can get in touch with them. They should be able to have a visual on that area. But the strongest rotation, it looks like it may have just picked up a little bit more. Now we're starting to see a little bit more gate-to-gate shear on our volumetric radar. And I've got a feeling, Barry, what time does this tornado warning expire at? I'm not quite sure. I think 8:45?
Let me look here. Yeah.
8:45,
yeah.
8:40. I've got a feeling they're going to probably extend this. Do we have Matt? Matt, can you tell us your location and what you see?
Yeah, we are, the rain is just starting. We are in Mayflower, and we're about to get back onto I-40, head farther south into this storm cell that you guys have been talking about, heading through western Pulaski County.
Yeah.
The rain is starting to pick up. We've seen a lot of lightning with this storm.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and if you just stay with us, Matt, you look south of Roland, and this is the product that we use that pinpoints the area of rotation, and this is very high. So I would be surprised if we didn't have something. We would have to have at least some damaging winds. I think that's a given. Whether or not there's a tornado or not, I don't even know if that's worth noting right now, because the wind damage from the thunderstorm is going to be up to 90 miles an hour.
I think it's irrelevant. Yeah, I don't think, but a tornado can spin that up just briefly. It enhance in a very narrow corridor, but there's going to be plenty of wind. But there is that rotation, there is that inflow there as it heads in an area that would take it across the Arkansas River very soon, past Roland, and up, well, really up toward Plantation Acres, that subdivision there to the southwest of Mayflower, and inbound to the radar site is some very strong wind. So, like Todd said, it's irrelevant whether it's a tornado or not. Let's assume that it is, and just take cover in the area that you are as it moves into the area. But a little broader view on our 5 live Doppler radars showing that we have this movement is north-northeast, but the line is translating east, and it's all the way from Leslie to Conway to West Little Rock and on down into Sheridan, and not quite to Fordyce, but it is in Dallas County as it moves off to the east. And I don't see any storms out by themselves, out in advance of this storm line. This storm line has overtaken everything, and now we just have to put up with all the wind energy of this storm as it comes through. And the leading edge of this, the most bowed-out feature on this, is this area right here coming into the Little Rock area. Yeah. And along it, that little spin that we see there.
Let's see what they just did here.
They've extended the tornado warning on out to the east.
That's what I thought they would do. If we have Matt Mershon, just to let you guys know that their tornado warning has been extended. We're going to get the particulars on this, but it does include Faulkner County, and I'm afraid that when we see that there's the polygon right there, this does include Mayflower, tornado warning. This does include Mayflower, so I need everybody in southern Faulkner County. This is not to Valonia yet, but I think Valonia, let's play this safe than sorry. Let's start making preparations to get to your safe place right now. There is a possible tornado. We're watching all the feeds we possibly can for any indication. And Matt, do you see any power flashes? You're very close to the circulation.
Yeah, we aren't. Of course, our warnings are going off in our car right now as we are currently heading into this tornado-warned area.
But we have a tornado.
Hard winds hitting in West Little Rock right now, getting reports from some folks out there. David Basil on the west side of town says that it is moving into that area too, and that was just moments ago. So it's moving through, and I'm just almost positive we're going to see outages start to really ramp up in the energy system, because the energy system covers so much of the Little Rock area, and there are so many people that live here. It's not that we're more important or anything. There's just a lot more people here, and this is the area that is the strongest storms that are bowing out, and you can see within that just some real large amounts of rain. I don't see much hail with that. But these are just cells within that line that are just pumping out rain, and they're pumping out wind as well as it moves into a very highly populated area. About the leading edge, about Midtown now, be in the downtown area, folks, not very long time from now. And here is the velocity, not really showing as much as just looking at the wind. Leading edge, of that. But we still have the tornado warning in effect, and just between Mayflower and Maumelle, along Highway 365 and also I-40 there, now almost 22,000 customers, that's customers without power. And in the Little Rock area, we are seeing some outages, and that's along Highway 10.
Yeah, it's on the north side of the river.
North side of the river, so that's
possible.
Maumelle Boulevard. Maumelle Boulevard now, a lot of it from I-430 back into Maumelle is without power. And now into southwest Little Rock at University and I-30, tons of folks are without power.
And look at this.
And all through Shannon Hills. Yeah, so we're starting to see those power outages that we feared. We see no power outages around Mayflower.
No,
right now.
That's some good news, because you would expect to have that with a tornado on the ground. But you know, Brian Empfinger, Matt Mershon reporting some power flashes. So in that area, we cannot confirm that there's a tornado on the ground. We cannot do that. But when you do have power flashes, there's at least some degree of confidence that we are dealing with some sort of rotation on the ground. It could be just some very high thunderstorm winds causing that, as we saw on our live camera from Hot Springs earlier this evening. Volumetric radar right now still shows that what we call a TVS signature. It's a tornado vortex signature. I think it has misplaced it, obviously. It's more in this area right here, going up into the Mayflower area. And again, the big problem with this right now, I just don't see the strong gate-to-gate shear that you would expect to see. Look at the radar. It's just a few miles away, so I think that this is just a huge gust of wind right now, maybe a broad rotation, but there could be a weak tornado in here. I think that's very possible. Go to your safe place. Maumelle, you are included in this tornado warning. I think okay, I just saw a power flash. That's here in Little Rock, though. Did you see that, Barry?
Yeah, no, but it's coming into the downtown area right now.
You'll see some. It'll just keep that camera up. This is what you're looking at right now is not the tornadic portion of the storm. This is just high winds, and this is a camera in downtown Little Rock. Little Rock is not under a tornado warning. This is all southern Faulkner County and northern portions of Pulaski County from Maumelle northward. This does not include Jacksonville. It does not include North Little Rock or Sherwood, and it does not include Ferndale. You see what we call the polygon, the red box. And it's for northern Pulaski and southern portions of Faulkner County. But we're going to have a ton of power outages. We're already up to about 22,000 right now. And this line has only made it through halfway through the state.
Just coming into downtown, and that camera is shaking because it is right. 30 stories up, and it is getting buffeted by the wind that's coming into the downtown area here. And we'll continue to watch for power flashes on that. But it would not shock me to see more outages coming along here. I'm going to update the Entergy map here and look for more outages within the Little Rock area. There are a few more starting to show up, just sporadic ones. There are some, not a whole lot. That area around Shannon Hills, that area at University and I-30, and a couple of more maybe around Kamak Village in there, but that's about it. It's in the western part of the state that we've seen so many, and what's going to happen is this number is going to go way, way up. Here's another, there's an area of...
Let's go, can we go to, if we can, just to 5 Live. I just want to let you know I'm getting reports right now that in Maumelle, just extreme straight line winds.
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you that report right now, that Maumelle, extreme straight line winds. There are no sighting of a tornado, but you need to be in your tornado safe place.
Conway, you're getting strong winds right now, too. Other warnings all in advance of this line. We're not going to go over each individual severe thunderstorm warning because that's kind of irrelevant, but all along in advance of this line, as it moves through the state, there are going to be warnings in effect, and you can see those yellow boxes there. But really, from Clinton down to Conway to the Little Rock area now, and that looks to be the strongest part because this area is, look at this, it's more bowed out than the other areas are. And so that's why I say that the wind damage threat is so much greater in that area rather than South Arkansas, which there is a threat down there. Don't get me wrong. It's just not quite as great as this area that's bowing out through central Arkansas.
We have on the volumetric radar, I'm trying to pull up Michael Hook, the Weather Ninja Storm Chaser, his live feed, very dark, and he's on the phone. What do you have for us, Michael?
Hey, Todd. I am just to the north of Maumelle, and as I was passing through, definitely looked like some sort of wall cloud for sure. Saw power flashes, which looked like they were right over the city of Maumelle, and then got hit with the gusty winds, and the winds definitely changed direction, so there is definitely rotation making it to the ground. The winds weren't strong enough. I mean, I pulled off on the side of the highway, but right now it's just still gusty winds and a lot of rain.
Okay, thank you very much. It's Michael Hook, Maumelle, reporting that he did see power flashes there, which again, we do not know if it was a tornado or it's just damaging winds because there's a lot of power outages, but that is in the area where there was a possible tornado, and there still is a possible tornado. Thank you very much. And Barry, I'm looking at my Twitter feed here, and there's sirens going off now in Bologna. You're not under the tornado warning in Bologna, no. But I still think it's a great idea to take cover right now. Lights out in Maumelle, and there are going to be a lot of lights out, I think, for tonight. And I'm just going to get back here. My computer is locked up for just a second. I'll get it working
Reports
again.
from West Little Rock still blowing, but the winds are diminishing there because the leading edge is now down into downtown. And so once this initial line goes past, it won't take that long. It's still going to rain, it's still going to blow, but the leading edge of it is by far the most dangerous, and we still have that tornado warning. It technically is in effect, I think, all along this line, though. Just be wary of the winds that are coming out of this storm. And there was the next radar sweep. It's coming right up on the radar right now. There's over on Remount Road in North Little Rock is the radar site. And there you can see the line of storms that's approaching it. It's all the way from downtown Little Rock. It's past East End now. It's crossing I-530. And if we're looking outside in downtown Little Rock right now.
Boy, the wind. Can we take the GMA camera? Is that the point at the amphitheater?
Yeah, the one from the River Market down here. Our River Market camera is just showing just unbelievable wind and rain. And I'll bet but you got to hang on to the steering wheel if you're crossing the I-30 bridge back behind there, because it's really, really blowing very, very hard.
Oh, good news. The tornado vortex signature has gone away.
Oh, good. Good.
Still a tornado warning. We still have a tornado warning, but the rotation is just not as pronounced. I still want everybody staying in their safe place.
Yeah, especially in that area. And I think be wary of this storm line no matter where it affects you. Just for a few minutes, be wary that the west side of your house is coming in from the west or the west-southwest. If you have trees on that southwest side, some of those could go and they could be pushed over into your house. And so it's not going to take long. Just avoid that part of your house. And if you're in that tornado-warned area up along I-40 and Highway 365 coming out of North Little Rock right now, extreme southern Faulkner County, then you need to go into the middle part of your house. Now, I think that was a continuation.
Moving east at 30. It's just that I think they trimmed back the back end of that tornado warning. Right. And now I think I kind of have my doubts that they're going to continue this tornado warning. Well, let me just show you what we dealt with earlier. If you're just now joining us, we've been tracking severe weather and airing live tornadoes. That was earlier. If we can check out the iPad just quickly. And I'm going to also show you power outages in just a second, but this is courtesy of Alan Faulkner, and obviously you see the tornado. And there's another picture here. This is from Jesse Hayes, and we had the live video of him. This is a still shot of his video from Jesse Hayes, and you can obviously see the tornado that hit the Ola. It was near Ola. Yeah, near Ola to Berta. But that's a picture. That's his Twitter handle, by the way. He's a big Razorback fan, WhistlePig11. Yeah. Anyway, we want to thank him very much. And we're going to look at more of these power outages in just a couple of minutes here, Barry.
Yeah, we're going to have more on that. Power outages, several spots around the Little Rock area. And right now, almost 25,000 Entergy customers are in there. I do want to show our 5 live Doppler radars, though, and just give you an idea of where the storm warning is and which way this is all moving. It's kind of moving rapidly off to the east, and the leading edge of it is where the strongest winds are going to be, right there. They're moving through the downtown area. That's still the warned area. That's extreme northwestern or north central Pulaski County and moving into southern Faulkner County. It's been extended up there. It's that area between Sylvan Hills High School and Valonia right there, kind of moving up through that, along that ridge. They're coming up into the northern part of the county and southern part of Faulkner County. Now, this is all moving off very rapidly. The leading edge of it is where you're going to see those winds. And although that is the tornado warned area, folks, I just say all the way from Conway out to the airport and down along I-530 down to almost Redfield. That is the most bowed out. When I say bowed out, it's the area that is obviously being intersected by winds that are moving those storms at a more rapid rate than storms up to the north of there or to the south of there. Not to discount the fact that you folks in North and South Arkansas are going to have strong winds as it comes through, but these are the most bowed out, and it's moving through a very populated area. Now, what we want is for this to begin to die out. As the heat of the day dies, these things are not going to be running into a more unstable atmosphere. It'll be a more stable atmosphere, and that's good. Eventually, these are going to die out, and hopefully we get this warned area here off the map, and then we just have to deal with not any spin-ups along the line, but just strong straight line winds. But for now, we watch this area particularly, but all this area as it moves through the Little Rock metro area. Number of power outages, are there any more that have popped up in the last few minutes, Todd?
Yeah, we're at 25,000 right now, Barry, and that continues to grow. And just my opinion, looking at you analyzing that storm, that tornado warning I don't think will get continued. You need to stay in your safe place, but all signs are, and that's very typical of these, they wrap up and then they let go. And these are not your typical supercell thunderstorms. The big problem, damaging winds, and everywhere you see red here on the Entergy map, those are areas that have power outages. And the good news right now, according to Entergy, Little Rock, we do have outages, but they're not quite as widespread as we thought they could be. But you see I-30 over towards where I-30 and University Avenue come together. We have power outages there. Also out towards Ferndale. This is possibly because of that tornadic circulation. Well, that says that there are 314 customers that are affected with that power outage in western Pulaski County. Also near Maumelle, 59 customers without power. Shannon Hills, we're getting reports of 1,900 without power in that location. How about Saline County? First Electric Co-op. The areas around Perrin, Jesseville, here's some locations. That's just one outage here. Let me hit this area right in here. And this is 429 people that are without power in the Jesseville area. And also, just south of Little Rock here, and there's Benton and Bryant, we have power outages in those locations as well, too, there. I mean, it's pretty sporadic, but there are definitely several hundred now. I'm told here, if you look at on the right, almost 4,000. So you do the math here, we're getting close to 30,000 now that have been affected because of the damaging winds that have come through. And it's going to take a while to get that on, but I know that for a fact that Entergy, just yesterday when we had 20,000 without electricity, they did a very quick job of getting that out, and I think they actually brought in, I don't know this for sure, but they brought in crews from, extra crews for this, because I saw some electrical crews from out of state just going around West Little Rock today, and they were lost trying to find their way around. But I know that they have been preparing for this, and they are going to do their best to get that. But, you know, they can't work while we have these thunderstorms going on and the lightning as well, and it makes it difficult to do what they do. But it will take some time, because this is a large number of power outages here that's affecting Arkansas, Barry.
All right, let's go back to our VRAD display if we can. And there's the line of storms. It's moving all the way from Searcy and Van Buren County back through the Little Rock area, through Grant County and Dallas, and now moving out of Calhoun County and Camden, rather Ouachita County, into Calhoun County. And there is one tornado signature that still is showing up, and that is the area to the east of Mayflower right now, and moving off to the east-northeast of there. And